Hello. This is going to be quite similar to a video I did a while ago, but I want to show you a few more things with it. So this video is going to be about different types of attack you can do. I've added a few features of it, which, although there's nothing enormously different, I think is worth recapping. So I've added in a character just called Freddy Foundry. I think it's actually the art I use for build draft in my campaign, but it's clearly meant to be Peter Capaldi, Malcolm Tucker, if you like the thick of it. I've given him a few different abilities, and we're going to go through how they work. So first of all, we're at the Gulfire's Tree. Excellent map made by my friend, the Mad Cartographer. Wish I'd had access to this when my party got to the Gulfire's Tree. This werewolf heard that Freddy had been talking shit and that we didn't think that he would hear it, and he comes over to attack. So I'm going to place them both in combat, and I'm just going to begin combat and do initiative. And good, just to make life a bit easier, Freddy wins. So what do I want Freddy to do? I want Freddy to target the wolf and to swing his longsword. When you have any item or spell, as you know, you can go into details, and if it's set as having an attack, you can configure it. Now this page is, well, it was twofold. This page has been tidied up a bit, and also the Tidy Sheets 5e module I talked about in a previous video adds in some extra features. Well, makes it a bit more visually pleasing. What I'm going to touch on today are the attack types. So we've got things in here. I mean, I just dragged this longsword out of the SRD compendium, so it's completely normal. It's equipped. He's not even proficient because I've not given him any classes. He's got no levels at all as Freddy. Just realised his attacks are probably going to miss. I might roll it a few times till it hits. And it's a werewolf. Oh, it's going to be immune. Didn't think of that. But to do this costs one action. It's really handy going through and filling these in, not so much for yourself, but for your players. Like, everyone will know, can I do this? Can I do that? No, you've had your action, movement, bonus, sometimes reaction. Oh, so can I do this? No, that's an action. If you go through and pick these, then when they're on their character sheet, it categorizes them so they can see straight away, right, I've done that, I can get that done, that's a bonus. So I find it makes you combat, a little bit of time spent by you putting these in makes the flow of your combat much better. Activation conditions, that isn't anything mechanical. That's more of a reminder for your players. So I think, I can't remember if it's parry or riposte. One of them is a reaction which can only be used when you block, when an attack misses you. You know, an attack misses you, you're able to strike back with this. Handy to type that in so your player sees it on their menu as well, so they know, I can't do this all the time. Here's the condition. Doesn't apply to this. All we've got in here so far is range 5 feet. What I like to do with these is also change it. So when we have target, I could go, well, I'll come back to this. I'm going to go one creature. Don't want to specify only enemy in case an ally is mind controlled, and the fact that they're an enemy is quite a narrative thing. They don't become a hostile token, and you don't want to find that you're not able to hit back and defend yourself. So I normally go creature. If you do that, you will avoid a problem I quite often find myself, even though there's modules that do it for you. I will attack, my monster will attack a player. End turn. Rest of a round goes on, that player moves away, another player comes in. I target and attack that player next turn, and when I roll the attack, I say, oh, I've hit both of them, because I'd forgotten to one-target him from before, and because there's no limit on who it can target, it strikes both of them. If I change it to one creature, it'll warn you if you try and do two, so you avoid that problem. So I'll keep it being one creature, 5 foot range, it's just a sword strike, has no duration, no limited uses, no resource consumption. I'll touch on those. It's a melee weapon attack. uses whatever the default modifier is of that item. I'm going to buff this sword just so I accidentally hit. So I actually hit. This now pretty much becomes a +5 so long sword straight away. And some things are versatile. You can have an action put out to chat when this is used, or when an item, maybe not for an item, but for features. Certainly, I know one of my players puts. What is it he does? When he gets a brutal strike on his barbarian, he puts like an astounding blow. And when he casts rage, which he's reflavored to be an adrenaline surge on his barbarian, he tries to play an intelligent barbarian. It gives a chat message about, he was overwhelmed with a surge of adrenaline. Just little things you can do. Especially if you play a text-based game. Be it on the Curse of Strahd Discord server. And hearing about people's campaigns. More people than I would have expected in like the 2020 age of broadband and Discord servers. A lot of people still play text, it seems. I find it's not a lot of people seem to still be very, very self-conscious, like their voice. So they like to, or they live at home and they think if they, I don't know if it's full satanic panic, but if they think people in their house hear them saying like, oh, I'm a wizard, I'm going to cast so-and-so, maybe they'll get dragged off to conversion therapy for D&D or something like that. So yeah, if you are in a text-based game, you might really like that for just kind of macroing, describing your abilities. So I've made this big +5 sword. There's no save and throw involved. There is the option for versatile damage. I do like that. You'll see that in a second. So I'm going to save that. I am now going to have, I almost called him Malcolm then from his character. I'm going to have him use a longsword. Now, I could just click the roll. I've taken to clicking standard roll. And what that does is bring up like a little workflow box. So instead of you clicking and it rolling a dice for attack and you seeing it and then you going back and doing the next thing, it pops it all in one box. So when I click attack, your usual advantage, normal, disadvantage. I'm going to say it's normal. Actually hit for once, that's nice. Then I can click damage to roll the damage. But because we had stuff in the versatile box, we had a versatile calculation, it gives you the option to do both. So the player, you don't have to go and program a separate roll to do that. So you can choose to just attack one-handed if you're a sword and shield. But if he's thrown his shield and he's wielding it versatile, which Freddy is, I'm going to do that. Click. Normal hit. Pitiful damage. Because the damage calculation wasn't adjusted. And because he's a werewolf, turns out he's immune anyway. So that is just a normal sword attack with a 5-foot range. Unfortunately for Freddy, more wolves come moving in. In fact, first of all, the wolves come in like this. I've talked about animated spell templates before. Although they're very flashy, and I've got them on here, this video is looking more at the range and the attack range of them. So, Freddy, let's say the wolves attack, but we all miss because Freddy is nimble. Freddy then decides to cast Burning Hands. Now, before I cast it, if I go in and edit it, you'll see again, it's a spell, costs 1 action. This time, I've set the target to be a 15 feet cone. You see, you've got all these options. I'm not going to go through all of these today because some of them are very similar. And a lot of them take into account verticality, which I find in VTT doesn't get used too much. It's only as a bit of a reminder I'll occasionally use the height. Like if this werewolf jumps up into the air, I can right click and go +20. Oh, I misclicked. +200. He's been hit by a Skyrim giant. And that just serves as a little visual reminder that he is 200 foot up. That one particular werewolf. If I were to go in... Oh, and I have set a texture template on this image as well, as you're about to see. I'm going to go in. I'm going to cast Burning Hands. Because he's not a real character, he's got no spell slot, doesn't like it. I'm going to say do not use a spell slot. Place measured template. And that's what gives us this cone. So you'll see here, as I put it down, it will target them. Now, I'm a bit surprised, actually, that it is targeting 200-foot high wolf. I would have thought it hadn't. I'll have to look into that. I think I'll do a video on verticality because it'll make me explore it myself a bit more. But you can see the target sign coming up showing who's going to be hit. And at the moment, in fact, when I rotate it now, it doesn't get that. There's something screwy going on there. I'll get to the bottom of that for you. But yes, he's going to cast this Burning Hands. We see who's targeted. The tokens, I've got my settings changed, so tokens go on top of templates. You can change that on yours. I can click the damage. Damage is done. There are also modules you can get that untarget everybody at the end of a turn. I'm going to do a video on that soon. I'm also going to do a video that talks about another module whose name I have forgotten. I've been recommended it. I haven't put it on yet. Where you can set for each template, when do you want the template to disappear? Like as you're about to see now, if I just get rid of this template, Freddy's going to cast Fireball. And Fireball is a nice, big, very impressive looking template. You can see in here, I've got this one configured to be a 20-foot sphere. When I cast this, don't use a spell slot. Yeah, great big, dramatic looking fireball. But every single time in a campaign, that gets dropped. And half a round later, the next person's like, I'm going to try. Oh, I can't click it. Oh, it's the fireball. There's fireball tokens in my way. This module, whose name I've forgotten, for each spell you can, or each ability, you can say, get rid of a template of this in this many turns, this many rounds, minutes, or just at the end of this person's turn. So you can shoot the fireball out. That looks great. Rolls all the saves, rolls all the damage. When you click to the next person, just deletes the template away. I'm going to drop this template. See here, we've got all our wolves been hit by it. Does the save and, you'll see it does the save and roll automatically, which I like, and adjusts the damage accordingly. So we can see for the wolves that saved and didn't. Why did that wolf take extra damage? Oh, he took less damage because he saved big. Cool, okay. Get rid of Fireball. The next one I'm going to show you is Lightning Bolt. That one is configured to be, as you can see here, a 100-foot line. If I click on that, don't use a spell slot. You can see again, as I move the spell around, it shows who's going to be selected by it. One of my players used this on the Babala Saga fight against the house. And I'd had them release a load of ravens at the start of the fight from the cages, and the ravens all flew off. And I just dragged them. It was a huge battle map. I dragged them way north and basically said, yeah, they're out the fight now. None of the players had a vision on them. It's a 100-foot line. At the end of the fight, someone shot lightning at the hut to finish it off. I think the Saga died before the hut. And it hit the hut. And then we just saw in a chat log come up, the one raven at the end of the line just got clipped with the very last grid square of Lightning Bolt and killed it. To have this image of the hut going down and this one raven going into feathers as it flew off. We had a good chuckle about that. So yeah, I can drop Lightning Bolt and it'll target players in a line. Again, roll the damage and it will force the save. Now it warns me because he has 2 concentration spells that it's overwritten the previous one. That's because I haven't got, because he's not a full player. Because he's a player, but he hasn't got an owner, there's been no player on to alert him that his concentration's being overlapped. 2 more spells to show you, and then I'm going to show you a little trick for melee range. If I just go in and delete that spell token. So we have the spell, Wall of Fire. Now I find that players use Wall of Fire in 2 different ways. I might go in, click Wall of Fire, and an icon comes up, a template comes up, and I can choose where I want to put it. You can see here it's going to target people, and I might drop Wall of Fire there. That's great. A lot of players use Wall of Fire, I've noticed, as a very defensive ring around themselves. They're going to drop it around themselves and then do what they need to do, cast a ritual spell, something else that won't break concentration. I've got a template for both, but what I don't want to do is have to go and change that template in combat, or have this cool template but say, oh, well, this time, guys, it's not happening. So what I can do is go in. I don't know if I can. No, I can't. So I'm going to go back into my compendiums. I'm going to open up spells. I'm going to get Wall of Fire again and add it in. That's the wrong Wall of Fire, actually. Let me just... Wall of Fire. It's now in there twice. So I have 2 Walls of Fire. I might go in here and just go circle Wall of Fire variant. I've done it to the wrong one. What an absolute pain. Right. I'm going to go line Wall of Fire. And then this one, I'm going to go circle Wall of Fire. And you'll obviously have to remember this so you don't penalise your players on their number of spells, spell slots learned. I'm going to go in this time and change it to be a, where are we? A radius. And the texture template, I'm going to go to, where are we? Wall of Fire circle, ring. And then this time when I cast it, oh, I didn't adjust the range. So it's now done a 60-foot radius. That might be correct, actually. I should have revised the spell better. I should have read more about the spell beforehand. Whatever the distance of the spell is when you place a ring around yourself, I'm not going to delay this video by going and tabbing it, by tabbing out to look it up. But adjusting for what the radius will be, if you, in fact, unless it says in the spell description, let's have a look. Or a ringed wall up to 20 foot in diameter. So if I go in and change this to be 20-foot diameter, update that, cast it again, don't use a spell slot. There we go. He can now drop that. He's got a defensive ring around himself, so if he's protecting party members, that works as well. Last thing I will show you in this video, because it is... so many of my videos, I think, will take like 5 minutes, and then I see I'm pushing 20 minutes. Freddy is surrounded by werewolves. Now, I just made an ability up for this. There are plenty of abilities in the game that this could make sense for. But in his features, I gave him Whirlwind Slice. Freddy goes absolutely sick and swings his longsword around in a massive arc, striking all creatures within melee range. This leaves him absolutely cream-crackered, and he can't do it again until he recovers. I'm going to add some more werewolves in here, actually. So things are not looking good for our boy Freddy. Now, I've not set this up yet. I just put the narrative bit in. So this is going to be... remind myself the damage of a longsword, actually. I think it's 1d8, isn't it? Or 1d10 versatile. Yep. Okay, well, I'm just going to go crazy with this. So in features, let's have a look. So Whirlwind Slice. I've done nothing in detail so far. So you'll see it hasn't got any of the attack stuff because it hasn't even been told this is an attack yet. I'm saying this is one action to do. What's the activation condition? I don't know. Surrounded. Whereas before we did one creature, I am now going to go 5 feet creature. That combination means this ability will affect all creatures within 5 feet. So it isn't like the one creature. Now, I made a mistake with this quite early on in using Foundry, that something changed with how effects work, and it only just came to light. When I first started using Foundry and setting my own abilities up, my own items, so it happened for like NPCs. I had things like Esmeralda in my campaign. She uses a rapier and a hand axe. And for some reason I can't remember, I just renamed them as Esmeralda's rapier, Esmeralda's hand axe. And I made the items myself. And I clearly made a mistake with them, which Foundry's now caught up to me on. I put, 5-foot enemy, thinking that means, well, an enemy within, 5-foot creature, thinking that meant a creature I choose within 5 foot. Well, no, it means all. So you could do this with things like Spirit Guardians, the spell. You could set it to be 15, enemies 15-foot radius. When you cast it and you drop it on yourself, all enemies within 15 foot or who move into it are automatically attacked by it. I am going to say, this is a 5-foot ability. Hits all creatures within 5 foot. No duration. Limited uses. So you could say this is 1 per day. Short rest, long rest, charges. Charges is very good for magical items with a use. I might have this be... Well, you've got your choice. I can have it use a recharge if I wanted. So on a 5, this ability is available. So once he's used it, he can't do it again until he rolls a recharge. Or you might just say that he can do it once a day. I'm going to say he has 1 of his 1 per short rest uses. I've not done the attack yet. So in here, action type, got all these different options you can do. I'm going to say this is a melee weapon attack, and the menu significantly expands. Ability modifier, it's going to go off default. Attack roll bonus, I'm going to say he gets a +2 when he does this. I can't remember if it's 2 or +2. We'll find out if I get an error. Oh, it's changed it now. That's good. What is the damage formula going to be? Damage formula, because it's the end of the video, I'm going to say is 5d20. This is the big damage. Versatile, 10d20. Oh, and I didn't put a type of damage in. It is slashing damage. There's no save and throw. Freddy goes crazy. And that is the ability I'm setting up. So when he comes to use this, we click. Do you want to use your 1 short use of this? Yeah. Usability. Interesting. Now, I would have expected that to also target the diagonal enemies. The diagonal enemies are not in combat. I've added them in later on, haven't I? So they may not be classed as enemies. So let me just add the outside 4 in, because it's far too late in the video for me to go back and restart it off that mistake. So let me go in. And plus, if I make mistakes, I want you to see. I still make plenty of mistakes with Foundry. It's just, it's a new program. It's a complicated program. It's a learning process as you go. So now I would hope when I use this ability that it targets all of them. Oh, it's got no uses left. Right, let's quickly give him a rest. I've shot myself bad here with this. And I can't rest him because he's in combat. Oh no, Freddy! Oh, now I can. He hasn't got the new sheet. Right, Freddy, you've rested mid-combat. It's not the done thing, but... Still hasn't targeted them. I'm concerned by that. I will look into that and I will address it in a future video for you. I'll do like a short note at the start of the video. But he rolls it. Normal attack. Hits them all. Click versatile damage. And you can see straight away they're dropped. But I am just really curious at why that didn't hit all of them. What a mystery. I will... How long are we on this video? 25 minutes. I am going to very quickly, because I'm aware that I probably lost a lot of you by now, show you how, just a reminder, this is my monk. He's not in this campaign, so he's a bit scruffy, his portrait, his token. You can set your own attributes, your resources, so things like ki and healing hands. I've done another video on dynamic effects, but you should refer to for that because it talks about how to set it up. But you can also, with abilities, have the cost of an ability be a resource. So I've set ki as my primary resource, which means resource 1, primary, secondary, and tertiary, 1, 2, and 3. That's all it means. My primary I've named as ki. I've done an effect that dictates how much ki I have based on my class level. Again, check the other video for that. And with this, I've said that using ki for Flurry of Blows uses 1 of my primary resource. So as I use my ki abilities, my ki will go down. Quite a long video. Sorry about that. Hopefully you found it useful. If not, let me know how I can improve it. If there's anything you want to see, comment. Otherwise, thank you very much for your time, and I'll do another video very soon. Bye.